the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, all of our VOADs, our volunteer organizations active in disaster. And then the 28 members that you heard will be the core group that down in each of those communities works with those VOADs to keep them engaged and to keep them focused on the local elected officials' needs.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, members, anybody else have any other questions for the chief? All right, thank you, Chief, appreciate it. All right, we got one more witness, William A. DeLibero. All right, sir, make sure to state your name, who you represent, and position on the bill.
Good morning, committee members. My name is William DeLibero. I am the city manager for Port Lavaca, Texas. I'm here to testify in support of the bill. My experience comes from working on the East Coast and with Superstorm Sandy, Hurricane Irene, and a 500-year flood event, which brought me to work on the Gulf Coast. The idea of a disaster recovery task force is one that I see as having great value in driving and directing recovery from disaster events. I would, though, ask that the task force seek input from a variety of local and county officials that are responding to the disaster and/or recovery. One of the challenges that the city of Port Lavaca confronted in the early days of the Harvey response was the need for state and federal partners to staff up their recovery staffing at the same time as they were trying to get resources moving to the affected areas. The process could have been accelerated considerably if appropriate job description, draft lease or rent agreements, and staffing patterns had been developed and in place prior to any disaster event taking place. We recognize that this readiness will come at some cost, but we also recognize that this same readiness should ensure the resources that could reach those individuals and communities and need much more quickly if the mechanics of recovery efforts could be implemented more quickly. Thank you.
All right. Members, have any questions for the mayor, city manager? All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate your testimony. All right. The chair recognizes Morrison to close on HB 6.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. I know there's still some questions on how this is going to work, but I think the main thing is, I know people have asked me, well, why don't you specify who's going to be on it, what's going to be done? This is really to develop it, and it specifically does not name who is going to be on this particular task force, because we want there to be input. I know Representative Paul has given input on people that he thinks should be involved, or organizations that should be involved. So we want all the input. We don't want to come in here and say, this is who we're going to say and list it, and they have to be from here and here and here. We want to gather all of the members' input and from all of these elected officials that have been through all of this and say,